Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So just in case you haven't heard, as of May 5th 2025, the US Department of Education will officially resume debt collection activities on federal student loans that remain in default. Actions that were suspended in March 2020 under the initial COVID-19 relief measures and subsequently extended by the Biden administration. So this policy shift will immediately affect millions of borrowers nationwide, placing them at risk of wage garnishment, the withholding of federal tax refunds, and even the offset of other federal benefits such as Social Security through the Treasury Offset Program. It's quite a striking turn of events. The very Department of Education that the Trump administration once proposed abolishing is now the agency relied upon to enforce payments on these loans. So in total, the outstanding balance on defaulted loans runs into the tens of billions, meaning many families and individuals could see their financial stability strained by years of economic uncertainty further compromised. I'll be right back at the end of this video to offer my own assessment of what this means for student loan debtors and the broader higher education landscape.
Trump administration says they will restart federal student loan collections on May 5th. People who are behind on those payments could have their wages and their tax refunds withheld. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Student loan borrowers will see Social Security checks, tax refund disappear over defaulted debt. The Trump administration don't give a damn about the millions of Americans who are currently behind on their student loan following the end of the pandemic and all the changes to the loan system. You gotta be smoking dope and dog food if you believe you can dismantle the Department of Education but still say we can collect money from the Department of Education. It don't make sense. But let's sprinkle a little more context in there because, research over me search. As a part of these efforts, the Department of Education is starting a process that allows for borrowers who are in default for their student loans to have their Social Security benefits and tax refunds offset to repay the debt to the United States Education Department. It's almost like Trump knows there's a correlation between people with student loan debt and not voting for him. I wonder where I would get that from. It's the part that behooves me, right? Donald Trump and his administration approved a lot of people getting PPP loans with millions of dollars that forgave them. Not chastising them, saying to repay their loans back. But if you were 18 years old and had predatory loans sent your way, you should definitely have to repay those, and you should never took those loans. But they never had that same energy when it comes to the billion-dollar corporations that have to be bailed out with tax dollars. Education is elevation, and man, they're about to be sending college graduates to El Salvador probably because, hey, you shouldn't allow.
Starting May 5th. The Treasury Department will begin collecting on defaulted student loans, and they will begin garnishing not only wages, not only income tax refunds, but any federal payments. Any payments received from the federal government are subject to being garnished if you have defaulted on your student loans. Now, imagine being like an adult learner, maybe an older student, going to college, getting student loans, you didn't pay them back. Now you're 62, 65, and you receive Social Security. You think these motherfuckers trifling enough to garnish Social Security because of unpaid student loans? Imagine co-signing for your grandkids' student loans and they don't pay them back, and you on Social Security. They're not above taking old people's Social Security checks for them student loans. They've completely defunded Head Start. Like, they're literally taking education away from children. Taking old people's Social Security checks for defaulted student loans seems pretty on brand. Like, well, if you're a disabled student and you're getting SSD, federal SSD, I would not put it past them. They are trifling and disgusting enough to garnish disability benefits for defaulted student loans. You cannot convince me. May 5th is going to come, and we are going to find that these people are starving old people and disabled people because of defaulted student loans. Just plain sick. MAGA, are you getting what you voted for?
This is insane. How do you justify going from $68 to $1,000? And how do you expect people to be able to make these kind of payments? Due to executive orders, the student loan department has paused the income-driven based repayment plans. And if your plan happens to be up for renewal, they just put you on the standard plan, which has insane high payments. Now, home buyers, you really need to stay on top of this, because if you go late, they're going to report you late after you go 90 days late. That's 3 30-day late payments. Your scores are probably going to go down 100 points. Mortgage tip, and not a great one, but a way to save your credit. If you miss 2 payments and you're able to make 1 payment, they won't report you late. Now, for the trolls out there, you're telling people not to make payment. No, I'm not. I'm telling people how to avoid a 30-day late if they literally cannot afford these insane jumps to the payments. Don't just take my word for it. Verify with the student loan department that they will not report you late until you're 90 days behind.
They can't garnish this cash. They're going to have to come get it back in blood. Take your money out the bank. Take your money out the bank. When you go to work tomorrow, turn off direct deposit. Opt for a paper check. And you better take it to Food Line every 2 weeks. Take your check to Food Line every 2 weeks and pay the 2% check cashing fee. We down bad. We down bad, y'all. We down bad. We got to do what we can do. Oh, my God. Oh. They done got us. They done got us. This time, y'all woke me up. Everything else was a joke, but this here, you got me this time.
My people at with them student loans. Where y'all at? It's 5.3 trillion of y'all in the United States. Come on, tune into this video right here. Come on, sip a little tea with Auntie. Let's talk about it. So, effective May the 5th, y'all will start having to pay your student loans again. If you are a federal employee, you really need to listen up. If you are a federal employee and you do not make your student loan payments, these people can garnish your wages. We don't need that to happen. Garnish wages equal repo cars, eviction notice, kids not eating, and everything else. You're a federal employee effective May 5th. Make sure you gonna set something up to have them payments come out of your check to be able to pay them student loans so these people don't garnish your check. Everybody else, non-federal employees, you still need to set up something to have your student loans start to come out of something, some type of payments, because they can't take your tax return, any other type of money that you get federally funded. Any of that money can be taken to go against those student debts. It's 5.3 trillion people in the United States who have student loan debt, and effective May 5th, they're going to start to collect on it. It's out the old, when Joe Biden was in the office and we had COVID, they delayed it. You didn't have to make no payments. That's out the window now. May 5th, effective May 5th, you guys. Repost this video, get it across. Make sure y'all set something up with Uncle Sally, Aunt Sally, whoever it is y'all got your money from, and get them payments to rolling so these people don't start messing with your money. Thank y'all for sipping a little more tea with Auntie. Bye, y'all.
Student loans in default are going to be referred to debt collection, the education department says. That was the headline today. So let me put y'all up on something. Once student loans normally go, or any account goes over into a collection agency, you can request a debt validation underneath the FDCPA. And that's requesting proof that that collection agency even owns the debt. When debts are transferred or collections are charged off, normally the original creditor never ever sends the paperwork that you originally signed. The debt collector just bought your debt in a portfolio with millions of other people. So they will not have the paperwork on anyone, okay? Unless they've been putting it in third-party information systems like on blockchain or something. But other than that, they shouldn't have it. And if a collection agency can't prove the original loan documents on a payment history or prove your signature, then they must stop collection and they must remove it from your credit report. Let's see how far this goes, because this is going to be interesting. Debt collection on student loans? Child, please.
One thing for certain, two things for sure. Donald Trump is an agent of chaos. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to create a little chaos ourselves. And you know I love a template. And you know I got something for y'all, so we'll get to that in a minute. Let's get to the facts, shall we? Yes, he signed an executive order. No, it will not be enacted just like that. He cannot transfer our loans and our data over to the SBA without Congress passing a law. He cannot transfer data about students with disabilities over to HHS without Congress passing a law. It cannot just sell off all of our loans without Congress passing a law. He cannot just shut down the Department of Education without Congress getting involved. The government is deviant and dastardly. They're not designed to help us, so we don't have to help ourselves, because you know what they will do? Find your loans to be in default. Try to garnish your wages. Try to levy your property and your bank accounts. So here's what we're going to do. This is our FERPA fightback plan. I created 5 documents in a bundle, and you need to get them all. First up is a checklist for borrowers, and you need to follow it to a T. Do everything on the checklist that I'm telling you to do. You haven't already? You need your FERPA violation template. Fill it out and get it. Next up, you need to write your state's attorney general. I don't care if they're red, blue, purple, or green. I don't care what their political affiliation is. Get that template, fill it out, and send it to your state attorney general. You also need to write to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. No, they didn't get rid of it. Yes, they're trying to dismantle it. It still exists. Write to those people today. Finally, write to your U.S. senators and congressmen. I've got a template for that too. The FERPA Fightback Plan. 5 documents that you need to create a little chaos of your own. It includes your FERPA template, your state's attorney template, your borrower checklist, your consumer finance template, and finally, a template for you to write to your United States congressmen and your U.S. senators. Don't delay. Go get it today.
And that brings us to the close of today's discussion on the U.S. Department of Education's decision to resume collections of defaulted federal student loans beginning May 5th, 2025. But before we wrap up, let's take a moment to consider the very real downsides of this policy shift and why it matters so profoundly for the millions of borrowers who thought maybe they finally escaped these loans that were opposed in March 2020. First and foremost, wage garnishment is not simply an abstract government's power. It's a direct hit to take home pay. So once garnishment goes into effect, borrowers will see a portion of every paycheck diverted straight to the Department of Education before it reaches their bank accounts. So for individuals and families operating on a razor thin budgets, that reduction in net income can mean the difference between covering rent or rent falling behind, between keeping utilities on or facing shutoffs, between affording groceries or skipping meals. In short, what might look like a cold administrative procedure manifests a very human financial hardship and insecurity. Secondly, let's talk about emotional strain. Debt collection has always carried a significant psychological toll. I'm facing one right now. I'm in debt, guys. Constant letters, phone calls, and the ever-present threat of legal actions can trigger anxiety, depression, and a feeling of powerlessness. I'm so glad I'm not receiving all those. I praise God. I'm thankful. I've been given time to pay off my loans. So guys, I want you to be watching every advert on this video, please. For the past 5 years, the pandemic era pause offered a reprieve and acknowledgement that many borrowers were juggling job losses, health crises, and caregiving responsibilities. Now, as those enforcement protections vanish, everyone risks the plunging vulnerable populations back into a spiral of stress that can affect stress that can affect not just wallets, but mental health, relationships, and overall well-being. Moreover, reinstating collections on loans that have been dormant since 2020 creates administrative and logistical challenges. Many borrowers may be unaware that their loans remain in default or might have changed contact information, or attempted to consolidate or rehabilitate their debts during the pause. This mass resumption is likely to overwhelm services. Am I right? Yeah, leading to errors, misspelled payments, and widespread confusion. That's their problem. Anyway, in practice, that means delays in processing appeals or repayment plans and more frustrations for borrowers desperately trying to get back on track. It's also worth considering the broader economic impact. Redirecting wages towards past due student loans reduces consumer spending power, thereby siphoning money out of local economies. Individuals with less disposable income cut back on discretionary purchases, dining out, retail shopping, entertainment, which in turn can slow growth for business that rely on everyday consumer spending. In communities already reeling from the long-term effects of the pandemic, that withdrawal of dollars could translate into slower recoveries and even job losses in sectors dependent on consumer demand. It's also critical to ask, what messages does this send about higher education as an investment when borrowers see that their loans can move from suspended to aggressively collected with little advance notice? That's the question. And we've noticed throughout this video, these videos, this pause on collections, initially enacted in March 2020, was more than a temporary fix. It represented the recognition of extraordinary circumstances, public health crisis, economic shutdowns, and predicament, unemployment. Resuming aggressive debt collection now, when many households are still recovering, threatens to compound those disparities rather than alleviate them. The government's plan to get their money back through whatever means, the government's plan to get their money back through whatever means you get your paycheck is blunt instrument that neglects the nuanced realities of today's borrowers. Yeah, one question for MAGA. Is MAGA still getting what they voted for? Those who championed dismantling the Department of Education may find themselves watching the very same bureaucracy wields its full power to enforce repayment. In closing, this is not a drill. This is serious. Millions of borrowers will soon face wage garnishment without withheld tax refunds and offset federal benefits. The financial and emotional toll will be substantial, and the broader economic fallout could be far-reaching. Let me know what you think about this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Please share this video to widespread awareness. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll definitely see you in my next video. Please stay peaceful.